and I miss the days I could take my makeup and put a brave face on.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominique Davis, also known as Brown and Bendy, and here on this channel we practice flexibility of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Today we are going to talk about a process called segment intending. Segment intending changed my life, so I want to tell you guys what it is so that you can have the opportunity to enhance your experience through this process. Now, I would like to revisit the disclaimer that I put at the beginning of this video. During this video, I will be talking about difficult things that I've dealt with in my past. And I'm definitely going to give some perspective, and it will be a bit motivational, but I would like to give you permission, to give yourself permission to come back to this video if you are in a place where you're energetically very affected by your financial situation, because that's the subject matter in this video. Okay, so what is segment intending? Segment intending is the act of consciously deciding how you would like to feel when experiencing a situation. What turns segment intending into a practice is, instead of consciously deciding how you would want to feel in a broad sense, such as how do I want to feel today? How do I want to feel at work? How do I want to feel in my relationship? Instead of these broad understandings of how we want to feel, segment intending gives us the opportunity to learn how to be present in the moment and realize when we're going through different segments in our life and consciously deciding how we would like to navigate each of these segments. An example of this would be waking up, and when you wake up, deciding that I am going to be grateful for this day while I'm in this drowsy state. And then as you get out of bed and go to brush your teeth, deciding that I am going to feel energized and excited and grateful for this day as I walk to the bathroom to brush my teeth. Brushing your teeth and taking your shower. You can decide I'm going to be very present while I brush my teeth and feel my toothbrush on my teeth. As I shower, I might sing and decide to raise my vibration through song in the shower. So I could keep going. To wrap it up, segment intending is going moment by moment through your day and consciously deciding how you would like to feel in that moment. I did write a blog post on this. Okay, so there will be a blog post listed in the description box if you would like to understand in a deeper sense what segment intending is and have more examples and complete a worksheet, because you guys know I love making worksheets for you. We're going to continue talking about segment intending, but I want to talk about segment intending in relevance to having anxiety, because that has been my experience. And I remember that a couple of weeks ago I said that anxiety has turned into my superpower, and a lot of you were very interested in that. So I want to revisit that. What is most cool about segment intending is that it's kind of a boot camp for being present. It teaches you how to be conscious of your emotions and of your patterns as you go through your day. Because of course we could say, okay, I'm gonna start segment intending right now. On my drive to work, I'm going to feel excited about work. When I get to work, I'm going to talk to everyone on my way in. We can say that's our intention, but to actually stick to our intention means that we will have to be conscious and present so that when resistance comes up and we decide, okay, this is too hard, we can realize it in the moment so that we can start observing ourselves and seeing, okay, why was it so difficult for me to have a happy ride to work? Why did I decide not to talk to anyone on my way inside the building, even though I intended to? Using the law of attraction to enhance your life means that we are observing where we want to be. And as we observe and start to implement that type of action into our personality, we're able to see what parts of ourselves do not align with that vision we have of our desired reality. So that way we're able to shift and move and try different things to see how we can more so align with what we want to pull into our reality. Segment intending is an amazing way to be better at being still, because in order to consciously set intention, you have to be still. You can't passively set intention. You can't set intention if you are not focused on the present moment. When you decide to make segment intending a part of your life, you are learning to observe your present reality without letting thoughts of the past or thoughts of the future manipulate how you are seeing your present reality. And you're giving yourself the opportunity to choose what you want your next moment to feel like. Anxiety has become a superpower for me because the process of segment intending has given me the ability to be still and understand how energy is moving around me. Here we go, we're getting super esoteric. So with anxiety, you are very reactive depending on how much anxiety you have and how much your disorder affects your life. But for me, I was very, very reactive to every external circumstance around me. Every external circumstance I would react to and decide that the external circumstance would contribute to my life falling apart in some way. So I was always mentally analyzing and trying to understand how I could protect myself from every random threat. When I began to practice segment intending, I learned to realize this, and through this process, I was able to go from being a person who was controlled by these anxious thoughts to a person who was observing the anxious thoughts and getting to know myself from an honest perspective, getting to know myself from a place where I could just sit back and say, okay, what's my brain doing? And I'm not going to take what my brain is doing personally. So what ended up happening was I became very acquainted with my shadow side. I became very acquainted with what affected me and why it affected me in specific ways. So what happened is I became hyper aware of my shadow side. I refer to it as going to your hometown and driving around like you just know where everything is. That's how I feel about my shadow now. I'm not controlled by it. It doesn't manipulate me like a puppet, but when I feel my vibration go down or when something triggers me externally, I'm able to say, whoa, let's slow down, let's practice stillness, and then observe what's going on within me. The roughest time in my life, in my adult life, forced me to confront my anxiety disorder because it was honestly starting to get out of control. I was newly moved out of mom's house. These would be my videos that I had 2 years ago. So you can go back, you can watch them. I'm not sure if I ever explained to you guys when I lived with my mom or when I moved out, but I'll put a little screenshot of what those videos looked like if you want to know what part of my life I was talking about. But, you know, when I lived with my mom, my brain was saying, oh, life sucks so much because my husband and I, we can't afford our own place and we have a son, this sucks. And then we moved out and we had our own place, and that was an opportunity for my vibration to go up. But just because you change circumstances and just because something good happens in your life does not mean your vibration goes up. You expect it to, which is why people want to win the lottery, why people want to get married, why people want better jobs. People expect external things to affect their vibration when in reality, it's work. You can attract all the stuff, but that's not going to make you happy if you don't do the internal work. So I moved out, and my brain was like, I should be happier. I should be grateful for this. This is good. But because my vibration was at a specific place, my anxiety was getting worse because your body will always maintain the vibration that you're at unless you go down and you change the belief system. Right? We got to change the belief system, because if I have a subconscious belief that says I can't support myself, me and my family, we can't support ourselves, we do not have the resources, then if that's my subconscious belief, when we move out of mom's house, I'm not going to be happier because I have a subconscious belief that my husband and I are going to fail at keeping a roof over our heads. Again, this is subconscious, it's not conscious. And I don't even know if that's what I was thinking. It's just an example. But that being said, we moved out, and my anxiety was just it was getting so bad. And I was having way more panic attacks, way more anxiety attacks, and my intrusive thoughts were just bonkers. Trigger warning. Let's talk about intrusive thoughts for a second. Intrusive thoughts are when thoughts that are seemingly random pop up and they lower your vibration. And sometimes they can be very, very small, like you're sitting, you're having a good day, and then you just think, it's gonna be so hard to find a park at work tomorrow. Or intrusive thoughts can be very violent, very scary. Mine used to be very, very, very violent, and I don't have them anymore, which is wild. But my intrusive thoughts were starting to get really bad and my panic attacks were getting really bad. And at one point, my husband and I, we were out. We went to go get a cup of coffee. I had an anxiety attack. I'm sorry, no, I had a panic attack. It was very physical. And we got home. I had a panic attack in the car. Then we got inside the house. And at that point, I was still at a point in my life where I didn't understand my anxiety disorder. So I would still get very mad at myself for not being able to function. And I was just sitting on the couch, like with the heels of my hand in my eyes, just crying. And I thought my son, I thought AJ, who was 2 at the time, I thought he was in the room, but he actually had come out and he saw me. So he started walking around, waddling around, like mimicking me crying, like the way I was crying. And that was just like, no. Everyone is entitled to moments of weakness. Everyone is entitled to moments where you have to surrender. Absolutely. But I knew in that moment that that was not the example I was going to set for my son. Like I said, we're all entitled to moments of weakness, but that time in my life, I was living in that place. I was living in that place of anxiety and worry constantly. And I knew when I saw my son walking around mimicking me, that he would pick that up from me. And I was not willing for that to be our lives. What really sucked about all of it was I was constantly, because of these intrusive thoughts and just because of my thought process in general and not feeling safe, not having the belief, the subconscious belief that no matter what, I would not be safe. Because of this, I was manifesting how I felt, right? So I have an intrusive thought. This is really important. A lot of people think you manifest what you think about, and it's not that. You manifest the vibration of what you think about. So, for example, I would trigger warning, this is violent, so maybe I'll put a timestamp to fast forward if you do not want to hear about a violent intrusive thought. But I was sitting on the couch and I was watching my husband take the garbage out, and it was nighttime. And I remember him walking out and my brain just like saw someone coming and attacking my husband in the most brutal way. And I saw him falling and I saw lots of bodily fluids and things everywhere. And when that happened, I was just like, why? Like, this is not really happening. But I felt the vibration in my body. And I remember that was the first time I realized that when you see something in your mind, you're not really reacting. You're holding the vibration of how you think you would feel if that happened. And don't get me wrong, like I would start to feel the anxiety, I would start to feel the dread, I would feel that, but it's not actually the vibration of if it really happened. If it really happened, that would be a darkness that you can't really access that unless you've accessed it before. Does that make sense? So I was holding a very low vibration when I had my intrusive thoughts, but that was manifesting as chaos and darkness in my life, just not to the extent of the darkness that comes from witnessing a murder. It's not funny. It's just, yeah. Anyway, how this was actually manifesting in my life was we lived in a place where we were kind of screwed over by the landlord, and he moved us into units with roaches, bed bugs, and on top of that, the neighborhood that we were in was just very, very unsafe. The person who lived next to us, he was mentally unwell, and he was also abusing his wife, and he would scream and yell all day, but he was an older man, and we would hear him like cursing his wife out, and then he was kind of like disconnected from reality, so he would like literally be like yelling at his wife and like being really, really unreasonable with her. And then he would come and interact, like come knock on our doors and tell us to move our cars, and then like come, like we would, long story short, he took some detergent and like sprayed it in the car, like got into our neighbor's car because I guess the door was unlocked, took a bottle of soap, sprayed the soap on all the seats, and then left. And we never like caught him. Like we don't have any evidence that it was him, but it was like, oh my gosh, this man and his drama. So I was manifesting situations where I was consistently feeling the way I felt, but I was seeing my intrusive thoughts. I was manifesting real life situations where I was holding the same vibration. So how did I go from that to being a person who can consciously decide how she wants to feel in every situation? First things first, with anxiety, something that is so powerful is the act of surrendering. Understanding that this is gonna suck. We've already started to release these chemicals in the body. If you're having an anxiety attack, if you're having a panic attack, or if you're just starting to have a lot of lower vibrational thoughts, learning to get to a place where you can pause and just let the thoughts, let the anxiety or panic attack run its course. Because once it's started, it takes an emotion 90 seconds to, or the chemical from the emotion 90 seconds to run through the body. So once it starts, surrender. Let it run its course. Feel it. Don't run away from it. Just feel it. It will not kill you. It won't. And that's really the most powerful thing that I learned. I was able to start being less impacted by my anxiety when I learned that the feelings would not kill me. I do not have to fear my panic attacks. I do not have to fear my anxiety attacks. I do not have to fear my intrusive thoughts. When they happen, just let them happen and then move on. Right? If there's something to process, I could definitely process it. But a lot of times there wasn't anything to process. I used to just be triggered by everything. But that being said, surrendering was the first part. All that to say, I still have anxiety attacks. I still have panic attacks. But I feel them very, very, very mildly. They are never external to the point where like my body is controlled by whatever is going on. But when I am triggered, I still feel the initial chemical release. It does not feel anything like it felt years ago. Nothing like it felt years ago. But I still feel that my body is wired to react to specific things. So all this to say, getting back to segment intending, getting to this place where my anxiety no longer controls how I think in the moment, I was able to grow into a person that is able to navigate my reality even when I'm triggered. Because guys, if you take away anything from this video, I want you to know that law of attraction is all fun and good when your vibration's high and life's going the way you want. But the work comes in when we are triggered or when a life circumstance puts us in a lower vibrational place. That is when the law of attraction work comes in. That is when we take accountability for the lower vibrational things that we are experiencing so that we can look back at ourselves and say, what within me matches the vibration of what's happening out here, right? So when we start to segment intend, when we start to go moment by moment by moment in our day, we are able to understand why our emotions are fluctuating the way that they are fluctuating, and in turn decide how we would like to feel as opposed to how our trauma, how our anxiety disorders, how our depression, or whatever else has determined we will feel. You see results almost immediately. When I learned that my internal state was really what was creating my reality, and I honestly saw how chaotic my internal state was, I started to self-soothe. I started to listen to my thoughts and flip my perspective. And when I noticed that there was less chaos in my life, I realized it was because there was less chaos in my internal state. You know, at that time, the law of attraction was so new and so exciting because I was manifesting, but it was not predictable. And with segment intending, you can learn how to understand yourself so well that manifesting can become predictable. It's magical. And when you get to that place, life is so exciting. Life is so much fun. And the beauty of life becomes more vibrant. It's like it's on a 4K TV, you know? Yeah, so what a video. That is all I have for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'd like to remind you again that we do have a blog post on the website about segment intending that will be linked in the description box. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up so other people on YouTube know that it is valuable. If you would like me to expand on anything that I've talked about today, let me know down in the comments, and I'll be happy to touch on that in the future. Last but not least, please make sure that you are subscribed and that you click that notification bell so that you can be notified when I come out with new videos, and so that you can join the Brown and Bindi bunch yourself. Okay, I love you. I'll see you next video. Bye.